Hi, it's Darnell with Wave Recipes, and today I'm going to be making up some homemade peanut butter. And to do that, I'm going to be using the Ninja Foodi dual heat air fry oven, and also going to be using an Oster glass food chopper. And so let's get cooking right now. So let's go over the ingredients for this cook. I've got 2 cups of peanuts here, and they don't have any of the brown husk on them or anything like that. They're room temperature. I've got 1 teaspoon of salt. This is sea salt. I've got 3 tablespoons of extra light olive oil. You want an oil that isn't going to impact flavor, and extra light olive oil is a bit more healthful than, say, canola oil. I've also got a tablespoon of a granulated sweetener. This is a no sugar type sweetener. If you use maybe monk fruit or something like that, whatever sweetener you want. If you want to use sugar, you can use sugar, but I prefer something like this. And I'm going to be using a tablespoon of organic raw honey. Nothing in this video is sponsored, by the way. But to get started, I'm going to get the cooker set to basically warm up the peanuts. You want to warm the peanuts up to a point that they're starting to show some of the oil coming out of the peanuts from being heated. So I'm going to turn the cooker on, and I'm going to set it to roast. So let's go up to air roast. And I'm going to be using that 8 minutes, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and going to hit start with that. Once it's done preheating, I'll get the pan on in. Alright, the preheat ended, so I'm just going to pause it and get the pan on in here. I've got my pan in, and just going to let that go ahead and run, and I'll bring you back when the 8 minutes is finished. Alright, so it's time to get the roasted peanuts out. So go ahead and take them on out, and you can see they get a little brown, they get a little oil that comes out of them. That's what you want. That helps to give you a nice robust flavor in your peanut butter. So with that, you basically set it here. You're going to give it about 10 minutes to just kind of cool down. You don't want to start when they're too hot, so just let them cool down a little bit, and after about 10 minutes we'll get started with the rest of things. So I've given the peanuts about 10 minutes to cool down. This is my Oster food chopper, and I do want to point out that it has a glass bowl. It's preferable if you have a food chopper with a glass bowl than plastic. The more glass you have, the less micro particulates or microplastics and such get into your food. So it's good if you can find one that has some glass on it. So opening it up and going to take my peanuts here and basically pour them into the bowl. Try not to make too much of a mess. Some of my peanuts are going off to the wayside there, so I have to get these few into my bowl. Now that I've got all my peanuts in, putting this top piece onto the food chopper, and now I'll put the lid on. In this particular chopper, it's got 2 speeds. It's got speed 1, which is kind of a slower chop, and speed 2, which is higher speed. We're going to be using speed 2 because we're basically going to be chopping things up really fine. Now that I've gotten things chopped up pretty good, pretty fine, I'm going to add in my other ingredients now. So shaking in my teaspoon of salt into things, and getting my granulated sweetener in, pour that on in. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my tablespoon of honey add it in here. And finally, the 3 tablespoons of oil go right in like that. So now put the cover on things again, and basically going to chop things up until they're basically silky smooth. And with the chopping, I want to just mention that you kind of pulse it. You just don't hold it the whole time, just letting it run, because then things just kind of get really excessively hot. So you just kind of pulse it and run it for a while, and then, you know, keep doing it until things get really smooth. Alright, so I've let it go to my desired degree of smoothness. The amount of time this is going to take will vary depending on how smooth you want yours. I'm not going to say X amount of minutes for this, that, or the third. You'll have to basically do it yourself, and you'll see how long it takes for your desired level of smoothness. Now, that's pretty good for me for some homemade peanut butter. If you want it smoother, you could basically run it longer. Also, something else you can do, and I think I will do that, you can basically scrape down these edges and basically get some of the stuff that's on the edges kind of knocked down in there, and then run it for a little while longer to get things a little better mixed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so I've done a little bit more of a run, and things are smoother now than they were before. You basically, with this, it's ready to eat. You could basically put this into a jar, and when you know, whatever you don't use, you put it in the refrigerator, and you can break it out whenever you want. It'll last, you know, a pretty long time in the fridge. And so basically, when you get it out the fridge, if you want it to, you know, warm up a little, you can let it sit for a little bit out to warm up, to be more spreadable, you know, because when it comes out the fridge, it might be just a little firmer. But I'm going to take, I've got myself a slice of my almond whole wheat bread here. If you haven't seen my video for making almond whole wheat bread, you can see that here on the channel. This is one of the smaller slices of that. I'm going to basically set the cooker to toast, and I'm going to set it like it's 2 slices, because it's kind of a, well, I guess I'll do 1 slice. It's kind of a smaller slice. Sometimes I do like 2 slices when it's a bigger single slice. I'm going to go ahead and let that run to make myself some toast, and we'll do the taste test of the peanut butter on a little toast. Alright, so our toast is done, so go ahead and get that out of here. Oops. A little piece that got on the heating element there. So this toast with this almond flour whole wheat bread, it's like, you need to cook it a little longer if you want it more toasted than your regular bread. But I'm good with that. So I'm going to just take some of my peanut butter. You can see it's nice and spreadable. Spreads right on real nice. Just get that on my bread there. So there we go. And so now let's do a taste test of this peanut butter here. So I mistakenly took a bite and started my taste test before I started the camera recording. But going to do a taste test bite for you, and I do have some water here so that I'm not like choking on anything. And so thank God again for some peanut butter on toast, and let's do a taste. Alright, so that's some pretty good peanut butter. And I will say it's better than peanut butter you can get in the store. You can make the peanut butter with whatever you want in it, but, you know, I'd say keep it healthful. But you can make it taste as tasty as you like. And that's the cool thing. It doesn't take a long time, and you do it yourself. And you put what you want in it, you know what's in it because you put it in there, it turns out real good. And so basically you'll find a link in the video description that is to a printable version of the recipe. Also, you'll see other ways to help the channel, like my cookbook and other things you can do to help the channel if you like. You'll see referral links. I'll put one for the food chopper as well, and a link for the cooker. And so lots of ways to help the channel. You pay the same price if you buy through those links, but you help the channel. And so with all of that said, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.